You walked out of another dinner feeling that strange, hollow exhaustion. Everyone laughed, everyone connected, and you smiled in all the right places. But something inside you was already packing its bags before the appetizers arrived. You drove home in total silence. No music, no podcast, no calls, just the sound of your own breathing and a quiet relief that nobody could reach you for the next 8 hours. That silence felt like oxygen. People keep telling you that you've changed, that you've gotten cold, that you've gotten distant. But you know that isn't true. You haven't gotten colder. You've just gotten tired of pretending the room was warm. What looks like withdrawal is almost never withdrawal. It's recovery. Recovery from a lifetime of translating yourself into a language other people could finally tolerate. And once you start recovering, you can't stop. Here's the part nobody says out loud. The smarter your inner world becomes, the lonelier your outer world feels. Not because you think you're better, because depth carries a tax most people around you refuse to pay. If any of this is landing somewhere private, drop a single word in the comments. We're about to walk through the real reason intelligent people quietly disappear from social life, and it has almost nothing to do with arrogance. You start noticing patterns in conversations, the way a musician hears a wrong note. Someone's tone shifts mid-sentence, their eyes flicker toward the exit, and you instantly know they're lying to themselves, and you can't unsee it. That awareness becomes a quiet curse. Small talk stops feeling casual because your brain keeps decoding subtext nobody else even hears. Every gathering turns into an exhausting interpretation job you never signed up for. Take Marcus. He loved Friday nights with his coworkers for years. Then one Thursday, he realized he could predict every joke, every complaint, every gossip cycle before anyone opened their mouth. The room stopped feeling like company and started feeling like a script. That's when the shift begins. You stop craving more people. You start craving real ones. And the gap between those two things becomes wider than anyone around you actually understands.
Your nervous system has finally learned the difference between connection and performance, and it refuses to keep spending energy on the second one, no matter how much guilt your calendar tries to dump onto you. So you cancel plans, you leave parties early, you let group chats die in peace, and everyone calls it depression, when really it's just your body finally telling the truth your mouth couldn't say out loud for years. It starts with something small. Loud restaurants, fluorescent lights, 15 voices overlapping at once. To most people, that's a Friday night. To you, it feels like your brain is being scraped from the inside by a dull knife. You sit at a table and watch lips move, and you can't track a single sentence. Your jaw locks, your shoulders climb toward your ears, and you start quietly counting the minutes until you can be alone in your car again. That isn't weakness. That's a system designed for depth being dragged into shallow chaos. A mind built for long reflection can't breathe inside a room that rewards only the quickest, loudest, most surface-level version of a person. Then something else breaks. You ask someone what they actually believe, and they answer with what they're supposed to believe. You ask how they really feel, and they describe what they did last weekend. The wall goes up quietly. After enough of these moments, something inside you closes, not in anger, in efficiency. You stop opening doors that keep leading to empty rooms. Tell me in the comments if you started doing this without even realizing when it began. And then comes the loneliness inside the laughter. You can be in a room of 15 people and feel like a ghost watching a play. They like the version of you that performs. They've never actually met the version that thinks. Olivia spent 3 years inside a friend group that adored her. Then one night on her porch, she realized not one of them knew what she was actually afraid of. They knew her jokes. They didn't know her interior. She left quietly the next month. That's the moment that breaks intelligent people, realizing being liked and being known are not the same thing. And once you've tasted the difference even once, you can never fully go back to being just liked again.
Here's where it gets darker. Admit it honestly. A part of you started enjoying the distance. A part of you chose the silence because in your own company, you were finally the most intelligent person in the room. And that felt like relief. That's the quiet secret nobody in this niche ever says. Solitude wasn't just a retreat, it was also a throne. And if you don't name that part of yourself, it will run your life from the shadows and call it self-care. Then there's the moral fatigue. You watch people defend things they don't actually believe just to fit in. You watch them laugh at cruelty to stay inside the group, and something in your chest starts forming a permanent door. You can't keep witnessing small betrayals of integrity and pretend they don't land. Every time you stay silent about them, you lose a thin layer of yourself you can't get back. Eventually, absence costs less than agreement. So you start choosing absence over agreement. You'd rather be alone with a clean conscience than surrounded by people slowly dissolving theirs in front of you. That isn't snobbery, that's a survival instinct finally waking up. Here's a question worth sitting with. When was the last time you said exactly what you thought in a room full of people without softening at first? If you can't remember, that silence has been speaking for you for a very long time. After years of that softening, every conversation becomes a quiet act of shrinking. You simplify your sentences, dim your references, smooth your insights so nobody at the table feels small. You call it social skill. It's actually self-erasure. Tyler was the sharpest guy in every room, and he hated it. So he spent a full decade pretending to be average. By 32, he didn't know who he actually was anymore. He'd erased himself so thoroughly that even silence felt unfamiliar. You walk away from gatherings feeling like you just worked a double shift, because you did. You weren't socializing, you were performing accessibility for people who never asked for the real you and wouldn't have recognized her if they met her. And then, one Tuesday morning, something clicks. You notice that the same patterns, the same dramas, the same betrayals keep repeating across every friend group you've ever had. The people change, the choreography never does. So you stop investing in the stories. You stop getting shocked by the betrayals. You stop trying to fix the dynamics. You just observe, conserve your energy, and step quietly off the carousel that everyone else is still fighting to stay on. There's also the envy nobody warns you about. When you're sharper than the room, people don't celebrate you. They monitor you. They smile while quietly hoping you stumble just enough to feel like equals again. Rachel got promoted at 28, and her closest friends started going silent on her texts. Nobody admitted it, nobody addressed it. The group chat just thinned out week by week until it was a museum of screenshots and unanswered jokes. So you learn to stop announcing your wins. You dim your competence in casual settings, and eventually you just stop showing up, because hiding yourself in plain sight is more exhausting than any full evening alone at home. Then you start noticing the emotional tax. You became the therapist friend, the analyzer, the one everyone calls when their life collapses, but nobody, not one person, ever asks how your interior is holding up underneath all that usefulness. You give insight, perspective, comfort, clarity. They take it, feel better, and vanish until the next crisis arrives. After enough cycles, a quiet diagnosis forms in your chest. You haven't been a friend, you've been a free utility. So you stop answering, not out of cruelty, out of clarity. You can't keep being a 24-hour emergency line for people who treat your existence the way they treat customer service. Polite, transactional, completely forgettable. Have you ever checked your phone after a long day and felt your stomach tighten at the names on the screen? That tightening is not rudeness, that's your body recognizing a pattern your mind has been defending for years. Then there's the performative friendship decay. Birthday posts from people who never answer your texts. Heart emojis from people who wouldn't show up at your door at 3 in the morning.
networking, carefully disguised as connection. You start craving people who don't perform, who don't curate, who just sit across from you in honest silence and let the moment be whatever it actually is. And you notice how frighteningly rare that kind of presence has become.
For years, people called you intense, too much, too analytical, too sensitive, too quiet, too intimidating, too deep. So you started believing the problem was you, and you built an entire personality around apologizing for your own frequency. But the problem was never you. The problem was you kept trying to be embraced in environments that were never designed to hold someone like you. You were putting premium fuel into machines built for something much cheaper. Most social activity, you finally realize, is just managed loneliness. People aren't really connecting, they're distracting each other from the silence waiting for them at home, and you've stopped wanting to attend that ritual. Drop a comment if you've quietly retired from group dynamics that used to drain you. So many of us are walking away in silence, thinking we're broken, when actually we're finally listening to a signal we spent decades ignoring. Now here's the part that reframes everything. This pattern didn't start last year. It didn't start in your 20s. It started in a specific classroom, on a specific afternoon, when you learned that being perceptive could be dangerous. Picture yourself at 9 years old, sitting at the kitchen table. Your mom's tone is off. The air is heavy. You already know something's wrong before anyone says a word, and your small body takes on the job of fixing the atmosphere. That 9-year-old is still running the software. Every room you walk into, your nervous system scans for mood shifts, micro-expressions, hidden tension. You don't enter social spaces, you infiltrate them, trying to diffuse something nobody else even sees. You learned early that being smart made you a target, so you developed two selves, the one who knew and the one who pretended not to know. And you've been quietly switching between them in every conversation since. You learned to read every adult's mood before they spoke. You learned to anticipate what teachers wanted before they asked. You became a translator, a mediator, a shock absorber for everyone else's emotional weather forecast. By the time you reached adulthood, social interaction wasn't connection, it was labor. A nervous system trained to scan, predict, adjust, and perform doesn't know how to just sit inside a room with another human being and simply exist.
So when you withdraw from society now, you're not running from people. You're finally letting your nervous system off a shift it's been working overtime since the Clinton administration. Your body is asking for back pay, and solitude is the check. There's also the conditioning of being praised for being agreeable. You were rewarded for being easy, for being pleasant, for not making waves. Every gold star at school was another brick in the wall between your real self and the world. By 30, that wall is so tall you can't see over it. You only know that pretending to be the easy version of yourself one more time at one more office happy hour might break something inside you that doesn't grow back. Intelligent withdrawal isn't isolation, it's recalibration. You're not abandoning humanity, you're rebuilding the relationship between you and the parts of yourself you quietly abandoned somewhere between kindergarten and your first full-time job. During this phase, almost everyone around you misreads what's happening. They think you're depressed, they think you've changed, they think something's wrong, because they've never actually met someone who chose themselves before their own eyes. Ava went through this for 2 full years. Her family staged a quiet intervention, convinced she was spiraling into something dark. She wasn't. She was finally listening to herself for the first time in 30 decades, and they couldn't tell the difference. Here's where the shift starts. The moment you stop apologizing for needing solitude, something massive loosens in your chest. The phantom pressure of other people's expectations actually releases its grip for the first time in your adult life. You notice how much energy you used to spend managing other people's comfort. As that energy floods back into you, your thinking sharpens, your sleep finally deepens,
and a voice you haven't heard in 20 years starts speaking inside your head again. You realize that the friends worth keeping reveal themselves in your absence, not in your availability. The ones who reach out without needing you to perform. The ones who don't punish your silence with silence of their own. Daniel pulled back from his entire social circle for 1 full year. 8 people quietly stopped speaking to him. 2 stayed, even through the awkwardness. Those 2 became closer than the 8 ever were. He gained more by losing more than he lost.
You also start seeing the difference between being chosen and being tolerated. Tolerated people work for the room. Chosen people are met by it. And once you've felt the second one, even once, the first one tastes like tap water forever. The internal shift is this. You stop measuring your worth by how many people currently surround you. You start measuring it by how undefended you're allowed to be in front of the few you genuinely let inside. The loneliness slowly changes texture. It stops being a wound that needs fixing. It becomes a workshop where you finally meet the version of yourself that got buried under decades of smiling at jokes that weren't funny. You start enjoying your own company in a way that unsettles the people who never learned to enjoy theirs. Your stillness exposes their restlessness, and that discomfort you finally understand is not yours to manage or apologize for anymore. Tell me in the comments if you've started preferring your own silence over loud company. There's a quiet migration happening right now across this country, and most of us are doing it alone, thinking we're the only ones who feel it. You will lose people during this phase. Some of them should have been lost years ago. Some of them you'll grieve for. But the ones who stay will be real, and the ones who leave will clear the runway for who was actually meant to land in your life. The version of you that everyone used to like was a costume, a well-fitted, socially approved costume. Taking it off doesn't make you worse, it makes you accurate. And accuracy, after a lifetime of approximation, is its own kind of homecoming. Here's the hard truth. You didn't leave society. Society left the depth required to hold you, and you finally stopped auditioning for rooms that needed you to shrink in order to let you stay welcome at the table. The liberating shift is this. Solitude isn't the absence of people, it's the presence of yourself. And once you've felt that presence fully, clearly, without apology, no crowded room will ever be a real substitute again. You're not antisocial, you're not broken, you're not too much. You're just done auditioning for a life that was never built for someone awake. And that isn't a loss, that is the moment you finally came home.